everyone, and welcome to RVN's new television show, What the Why, with host Barbara Ann, also known as me. Our show features conversations with diverse leaders from all walks of life about why they do what they do and how they figured it out that it was what they were meant to do in life. As I've mentioned previously, or maybe you're joining us for the first time, you're hearing for the first time, if you're looking for something different in your life or career, if you feel stuck and you want to get unstuck, or even if you found us by accident, whatever led you here to this show, you were meant to find us. And thank you for joining us. Our guest today is Elayne McClaine. She is the Regional Director for the New Jersey Small Business Development Center at Rutgers, New Brunswick. She's also the President of ESME Market Specialists, LLC. Elayne is a multifaceted expert, and she's a management consultant with an active practice, years of focusing on marketing, promotions, and strategic planning. Some of her projects have included healthcare with a range from diabetes and obesity to sickle cell anemia, childhood obesity, and dermatology products. She's even worked in repositioning of retail food chain. She's worked with L'Oreal. For many years, she contributed to a monthly column, Therapy Trends, to OTC Beauty magazine. And she served as business editor and manager for the New York City chain of publications. She has a BA in economics from Fordham University and an MBA in finance from Regis University. She specializes in marketing research, business valuation, strategic planning, and positioning. Without further ado, please welcome my guest, Elayne McClaine.
Why, I thank you so much for that lovely introduction. It takes me back. It takes me back.
Well, thank you so much for coming down here from, you're at Rutgers, New Brunswick, but you really actually work in a different city. You're in Piscataway, I believe?
It's the same.
It's considered the same? Okay.
It's the same.
So we're going to jump right into our first signature question. Yes. Every guest gets this question.
Yes.
And that question is, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Well, I got to tell you, as a child, I wanted to be a rockette. Okay? But I outgrew that. But that was my main dream. And but as I got older and more serious, I started following in behind what everybody said. You know, you should be a lawyer, because I was so inquisitive and thorough and detailed about certain things that interested me. But by the grace of God, I found that I was working and received a scholarship in advertising. Oh. And with the scholarship in advertising, I absolutely became fascinated with the idea of communications and writing. And then it was discovered that I had this gift of combining creativity with business sense. They called it left brain, right brain. So while I was first assigned to this major, largest in the world advertising agency, after being a creative for a while, they tapped me and said, you know, while you're working on your degree, you might want to come and join our MBA team, because we're looking to bring up more executives in advertising. So I went from creative to management, and
while you were still in school.
Well, I was a subway student in New York. I was back and forth every night, full term, doing my degree at Fordham at night. And what was so great about that is I just thought that was the greatest, ultimate profession in the world, because you got to dig into the creative, but you also had to have a business savvy. And I thought at that point, that was the greatest job in the world.
Wow.
You know, little did I know that after being tapped by the industry to go more into marketing, I got my first marketing job. Then I thought, well, this is the greatest career in the world. And so I stayed in marketing for a number of years after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you spend time in marketing, as you say, and you love it. But now you are the regional director of a small business development center.
Yes.
So how did you get from marketing executive to where you are now?
It was good fortune and good direction from some people at the Small Business Development Center at New Jersey, Essex County. And what happened was, by the time I had really gone up into becoming a full-service marketing person, one of the things I learned was that my forte was new product development. I had a knowledge of putting technology and science and chemistry into beauty products in several different categories: hair, skin, hair color, antiperspirant, and things of that sort. And in my marketing career, I was going all around the world learning about how to deliver beauty through science. Wow. And that became my strong suit, that became my forte. I was tapped by the American Association of Dermatologists for this knowledge because I eventually went into being an expert in hair regrowth.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
okay.
Hair regrowth and the chemistry behind that, yet the beauty of protecting hereditary problems having to do with hair loss. So what had happened eventually is that little by little, I was working for a major pharmaceutical firm, and little by little, I started thinking about what next? And it came to me, you know, you really need to take all these different skills and put them into your own business. So I went to the New Jersey Small Business Development Center to start learning about launching my own business. And when they started talking to me about, you know, my background and what I knew, what I did, and honing my own business plan with their assistance, it was discovered, you know what, you need to come here and teach marketing. And that's when it started.
So the student became the teacher.
The student became the teacher. And then I was thinking to myself, well, now, here you are, Fortune 100 companies flying all over the world, and you're just as happy training other adults to become entrepreneurs. That became another type of passion.
Okay.
So that's how it all got started.
So you went from one passion to another to another.
Yes. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What's one thing you wish you had known as you made that transition?
Well, the one thing I wish I had known was that, and this is one thing I teach repeatedly to my clients, is that as you're evolving in your career, it's very important to recognize your value and recognize what you've learned. So many people come out of corporate America, in my opinion, and they didn't grab all there was to grab while they were being trained and honed into how to serve a corporation. You should be utilizing that skill set to make sure you're ready to invest that in your own business.
Never stop learning.
Never stop learning. That is my motto, sharpen the saw. I make it clear to myself that you have to reinvest in yourself. You have to continually seek continuous improvement. And so that has bode me well. And when I teach business model development, and I incorporate the learning about developing a skill set and understanding the marketplace, and anything that I'm imparting to my clientele at Rutgers SBDC, I make sure that they dig deep and understand what it is that they have learned in order to contribute into their own business. And let's see if there's something in there that the marketplace is seeking.
Okay.
You see, now we have a big idea, so to speak. You know, that's it. That's it in a nutshell. Yeah.
Which is awesome,
Yeah.
because really a lot of our viewers are people who are in transition. You know, we turn on the TV, we open a magazine, everything's about the great resignation.
Yes.
And a lot of people out there are looking to make some kind of change in their life.
Yes.
After everything we've gone through
Yes.
in the past 2 years.
Well, let me just say this about that, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I work on a few projects within Rutgers B School, and one of the things that has become important is to help people who are in academia to understand that you need to find an opportunity, not necessarily always to work for somebody else. Make sure that you identify what skills you have to offer as a small business person yourself, as a startup, as an inventor, as a scientist. It's important to take a look at that because, you know, when you think about it, 76% of the new business startups come from small businesses, and most of them 76% of them come from SBDCs.
Wow.
Yes.
The small
And
business development
yes.
centers generate that many
Yes.
new small
New
businesses.
small businesses. And one of the other things that I pursued as I left corporate America was the fact that I became a business broker. And a business broker is one who takes a look at your business and says, well, is it worth a sale or is it not worth a sale? Is it worth it for you to buy that business, or do you need to go away from that business? But in my SBDC role, one of the things I help people understand as a result of being a business broker is we have to make this business look good on paper. Mm-hmm. We have to respect the numbers. Mm-hmm. We have to respect the fact that you can't put $1 in your pocket and the other dollar somewhere else and expect to get a really good impression of the value that you bring to your entrepreneurial venture. You have to respect business, you have to respect numbers, and if you can do that, then more than likely you'll begin to be successful, and whatever it is that you started, whatever germ of an idea it is, you'll be able to invest in it and make it grow.
Great. All right. We're going to take a quick break, and then right after that break, we'll be back with more with our guest, Elayne McClaine. Welcome back to What the Why with host Barbara Ann, and today's guest, Elayne McClaine, who is the Regional Director. I believe I called it the New Jersey Small Business Development Center, but it's actually America's Small Business Development Centers.
America's Small Business Development Centers. It is not only national throughout the entire country, but there are a few branches in Latin America, let's say, that they have SBDCs. And I was fortunate enough 2 years ago to be selected to go to Honduras to train a sister center in Honduras in how to do lean launchpad methodologies and things of that sort. It was a wonderful opportunity, and it was wonderful for them, you know, to learn.
What is a lean launchpad methodology?
Through working with the I-Corps team at Rutgers, we have a way of, before doing a business plan, we help people to do a business model. And this methodology is called Lean Launchpad or Lean Methodology or whatever.
Lean. Okay.
Lean.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
It's not your fault.
And it evolved from the launches of businesses in Silicon Valley.
Okay.
But we have been trained how to take Silicon Valley to Main Street, USA. So we have programs that establish the same thinking for small businesses to help them piece by piece really understand how to be successful before they go out there and fail.
Sure.
You see, so that's why it's called Lean.
And because so many don't make it, unfortunately.
Oh my goodness, by the time after maybe 2 years, 85% have failed.
Okay.
And so one of the things that we pride ourselves in at my center is the fact that we help people understand, as I said, money. We help people to understand how to respect your cash flow, your financial statements, and to understand that the only thing that matters, no matter how good an idea you think you have, the only thing that matters is profitability. And that's the goal. That's the goal. So it's important that people understand money. And we have all the tools, of course, to help them. I'm just saying we don't just drive it in, but it's important.
Absolutely.
It's important.
And since you mentioned your center specifically, you've expanded in a lot of ways because of the pandemic. I mean, when I was first introduced to the Small Business Development Center concept, the expectation was that you kind of went to the one that was closest to the university that housed it. But you've done all kinds of innovative things, including virtual training.
Yes, well, virtual access to virtual audiences has improved our ability to just go beyond our county, because technically we only cover the county. But through our new management, we're encouraged to do everything as much as possible statewide. And in addition to that, in my center, I have several communities that represent vast diaspora. And so as a result, we have communities such as the Asian Indian community, and because of that, we did a global forum last year during the pandemic, worldwide, between India and New Jersey, and it drew several hundred people from both parts of the world. Live concurrently. So yes, the new world order is going to mean that there's going to be some electronic aspect of every business that most people are going to have to embrace. Virtual opportunities for their business, for their training, for their learning, and for their ability to find out anything they want to know about in the world. And I always say to clients, the minute you go online, you've gone global. Okay? And so e-commerce is a big focus that we have for the SBDCs so that they understand how to do that properly and in compliance and, of course, profitably.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with every success comes the struggles.
Yeah.
What's one of the bigger challenges that you've faced in your journey, and what did you learn from the experience?
Challenges were sometimes when you're chasing and chasing and chasing, you don't stop and understand some things that might be quite significant. And I remember one of the firms that I worked with, Unilever, invited me to train in Europe. So I said, yes, I'll do that. And it was wonderful. But, the opportunity was broader than what I thought. In order to be a big shot there, you had to go live there. And I was like, that's not happening. I'm not leaving my family and moving to some country I don't know anybody. So, you wouldn't think that way today. But at the time, I was hesitant. And maybe that was not good, but to tell you the truth, it didn't hinder my progress at the time because, I launched a multi-national brand, and the way we had to do it was to gather in, of all places, Paris.
Oh, what a torturous place to have to gather.
What a torturous thing to have to go through. And then, in order to work everything out, because at the time there were a few limitations about going to certain nations. So I have no real regrets.
Okay.
No real regrets.
If you could do it all over again, you'd do it.
Well, if I had it to do all over again, I think it would have been easier on myself to prioritize getting finished with education and then get out there. I did everything piece by piece by piece.
Which so many people have done.
Yes.
I mean, there's kind of this
There's a
conception
pro,
that
yeah.
everybody does it this way,
Yeah.
and that's
There's
not
a
really.
pro and a con.
Yeah.
There's a pro and a con, but I would say when I talk to younger people, kids coming up nowadays, I say, please get this out of the way. However, I have a very successful young graduate who started working for me, and I'm like leaning in on him about getting a master's after he graduated. Okay. And no, that's not the way I'm going to do it. And I was like dumbfounded. Next thing I know, I see his financials. He's like making so much money.
Okay. So,
You know?
so he's still got a little bit of starstruck, kind of money-struck, or he's just
it's
doing
not
well
that.
on his own?
There's more ways, more than
okay.
one way to skin a cat.
Okay.
And that shut my mouth up on that topic, okay? Because he's only graduated 2 years ago.
Okay, and he's doing really well.
Extremely well,
Okay.
you know, and I'm extremely proud of him. But, you know, it just goes to show you, there's just no one way.
And you encouraged him.
I encouraged him.
Because there's others, my intern who works for me at Purposefilled, and others have had opposite experience, where they've actually been discouraged and put in boxes in terms of what their guidance counselors believe they're capable of.
Sure. Well, that brings me back to what I said a little while ago. You've got to recognize the value in yourself. You've got to invest in and bring out whatever it is that you have in yourself. Somebody told me years ago, you have a left brain and a right brain, and you're right down the middle with that. Somebody told me years ago that I'm a very internal person, that I go in and get my own work done and get my own thinking done. And they used to tell me that in a bad way, in a pushy way, you see, in a not so nice way. But then when you learn how to manage all of that, you know, and recognize the value, then you deliver it in such a way that it doesn't necessarily offend or put other people, make other people uneasy.
And you're right. I mean, because now you're into my area in terms of, so much of what we accomplish. As my microphone goes falling down. Here we go. Okay. So much of what we truly are proud of, what we accomplish, is internally generated. Our success is internally generated. Our happiness comes from within, not from the things that happen around us, but from how we react to the things inside us.
That's true.
That's true. So if someone wanted to pursue either career, whether it is going into the international marketing field, really,
or counseling and training.
Or into a counseling and training role, what piece of advice would you give them?
Most definitely work hard at being the very, very best you can be. No stone unturned. Build up your credentials, build up your capabilities, build up your knowledge base for you. Because ultimately, that's what's going to make you successful, and ultimately, I believe that's what's going to set you apart. So many people, sometimes I have clients that you spell out, oh, wait a minute, so you do this way, and suppose you did that, and you work with them in their counseling, and they walk out with a whole different interpretation of how big the opportunity that they're looking at really, really is for them. So, and that's what I treasure, the ability to help people see that entrepreneurship is more viable than you think, and it's possibly more rewarding than you could ever imagine. And when people start talking about becoming an entrepreneur, I say you'll work harder for yourself than you ever dreamed you would work in somebody else's company. And it's important. I remember the first time I launched a product. Or the first time I wrote an ad, and I remember as running down to get the New York Times to see my ad, and you know, you just can't imagine. Or I remember going into Walgreens, or it doesn't matter, and seeing my product on the shelf, and you're looking at it, and
pride and the excitement.
you know, the pride and the excitement. Now, start thinking about doing that for yourself. It's possible.
And that is the perfect note on which to end, because we are out of time.
Are we?
I know. It always seems like we have so much more time.
Are we?
So thank you so much. Elayne McClaine's information will be available at the end of the program, but you can also reach her through your email address.
eps57@business.rutgers.edu.
I keep losing my microphone, but since I stand in authenticity, we're just going to leave this in the video. Our guest next week, usually I give a long introduction about our guest next week, but our guest next week is a little unique. Her name is Christine Herbert, and she is a massage therapist, an accomplished one. But in her 30s, she realized she wanted to make a change. So drastic that she up and joined the Peace Corps and went to Africa for 2 years. And she wrote a book about it called The Color of the Elephant. And she's coming all the way from the West Coast to join us live here in person. So please be sure to tune in for this really exciting interview with Ms. Herbert about her book and her journeys in Africa. As a reminder, What the Why airs on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. and again on Mondays at 3:30 p.m. Also, on Wednesday forward, it becomes available on demand online. It is also available on Roku. Thank you again for joining us today. Whether you are looking to make a change in your life or career, big or small, please join us in the future for more inspirational guests like Michelle, like our upcoming guests, Christine, and our previous guests, Elayne, but also Michelle and Candace and Lisa and Ellen. People who have wanted to make changes, their inspirational conversations about how they made those changes, overcame their fears and obstacles to find their core purpose in life and live it.